everybody, we are back yet again. Triple trouble time. Today we thought we would gear up and we're going to talk about costume design in movies. John, you are our go-to expert on costume designs in our troupe. You start out.
Well, I think that if you look at older movies back in 20 years ago and from 20 years ago all the way even back or even further to time now of how costume design has changed as an art form. And sometimes costume designers, they do great on a project, and sometimes it doesn't work as much as out as we thought it would be on another project. Um, take 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 Sandy Powell, for example. Beautiful costumes for 2015 Cinderella, live action Cinderella. Beautiful costumes. Fantastic. She was getting to do her own thing. And when I heard that she was going to be doing the costumes for the live action Snow White, I was thinking, oh, she's going to do a great job because, Sandy Powell could do Sandy Powell, meaning she could do her own thing, which is what I was hoping. She would get to do her own thing. And unfortunately, that wasn't really the case. So, yeah.
Yeah,
because that whole movie was a train wreck and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at least some of the designs specifically. I think I'm actually, I'm looking at least one. I can't think of the word. One still, like a promotional still of her with the Cinderella costumes or some of her costumes, and compared to the design that she has in the concept stage versus what they are in execution.
Oh, her watercolor illustrations are beautiful.
Yeah, it's
honestly,
like the costumes themselves. Like, I understand you have to be kind of cohesive in your presentation, but like they also just kind of feel like flattened out compared to her concepts, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the things that Sandy Powell mentioned about Cinderella's live action dress is that it's supposed to feel like it's a moving watercolor illustration. That's how she designed it that way.
And I'm not
really
noticing
comes
that
out
in
that
the. And maybe it's just because I was looking at the image like that I was just talking about. I wasn't really seeing I see in the watercolors all these purples, all these like extra different lines. I really like that idea. But like when you see the actual dress in
it's like in a blue.
Yeah, it's just like I don't see all the extra purples. I don't see kind of like the pinkish, because like there's this collar right here, not collar, but whatever you would call that. Like it's right up above her bust, like off her shoulders. There's like some purples and such like around there, but I'm not seeing no yellows. I know, no, there's some purples. Like I'm not seeing it. It's just like, it's just a straight blue. I'm seeing hints of it. I can kind of see hints of it. I'm taking another look. Yeah, okay. No, there's another one. There's a good one. There's a still from the movie. Like you can barely, like I'm sorry to say, you can barely notice the watercolors of the thing. Maybe like
design,
yeah, maybe kind of like in the, I can't think of the word.
They really wanted to push the blue color, really. I think that was one of the issues, because if you look at the costume in person versus looking at the costume in what the movie makes it look like, the colors are really shifted to a darker tone.
Yeah. which is
and that's nothing against Sandy's design. It's more on the coloring, the digital colorists of the film.
And it seemed like, from what you're describing, it seemed more like Disney had a very specific vision on what they wanted versus letting Sandy do her own thing, which I'm not
Especially with Snow
surprised.
White. Especially with
Yeah.
Snow White. That was
Right.
one of the issues I had with Snow White, was because you look at the colors that they chose for her Snow White dress, it just doesn't work.
It's also an issue of modern movie color grading, because it seems like people like don't want to have bright and colorful costumes anymore, or didn't for a while.
Oh yeah, that's unfortunate too, because I
And
think
also we have to make everything for streaming, I guess.
Or beige or
yeah.
Make it so we can't even see what's happening when it's in a dark scene or something. It's like,
well,
what
that
is
too.
happening?
That's for another episode, but especially that too. That annoys the crap out of me. I understand. I'm sorry. Sorry for those who are listening and or watching at home. It's a mini rant. I I understand that they have to make the audio loud for the speakers, but somebody who works in audio, please, this probably will never get to you, but somebody who works in audio in movies, when you make the home release of a movie, mix the audio so you don't get blasted when you're trying to hear the dialogue and then you get like all the sound effects all at once.
Mhm.
But I've
Yeah.
watched some videos. There's a lot of audio mixing stuff that goes into that, but that's not the episode. We're talking about costumes.
Mhm.
I just wanted to get that mini rant out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will. I can't talk. John, do you want to hit with another thought before
Yeah.
I get into my tangent on unnecessary additional details costumes? Actually,
Yeah.
no. I wanted to get one thing out.
Sure.
It's funny, a lot of people portray the Cinderella dress as blue because in the original prints, before I got like washed out to crap and such, the original dress was white.
It was silver. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's
The
light
original, the
silver.
original, the original one was a sparkly silver. That was
Yeah,
the
it's like
original
it
color.
wasn't blue. It was like a silvery, like yeah.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah,
was it was kind of a mix of silver, almost light blue. It was kind of like in the middle. Like if you put silver slash light blue together is
I
what
think
they were coming up with.
I think that's why that kind of happens, because a lot of times when they portray silver in like cartoon media, they
Mhm.
usually try to have like a tint, like the
Mhm.
lightest tint of blue, just to kind of denote the metallic
Mhm.
colors.
Yeah.
But also, that's a movie from like the 30s and 40s, so it's
Mhm.
like, well, no, or
I
Another
mean,
50s.
they had to work with what they had.
Yeah, they had to work
yeah.
with what they had.
So one of the notes I wanted to talk about was approaching an animated costume and bringing the design to life for a live action format. Now,
Mm,
and also why animated costumes are iconic is because simply when you are bringing a live animated costume to live action, it's simply because the animated character's costume is loved because it's and recognizable because of its shape, its color palette, and its silhouette.
Yeah, I
So,
that is
yeah,
one of my points that I was thought about as like part of why many they're so iconic is because they stand out and they work with the silhouette method, which is the idea in character design
mhm,
that you can recognize a character based off of silhouette alone or even based
yeah,
off of color combination alone. And with especially the power of animation, it gives more fluidity and freedom with the designs and exaggerating certain features, that sort of thing. It makes it more interesting than just looking at a regular, like,
and the thing is that when designing a costume for an animated character, it has to be simple because if you put too many details into an animated costume, the animators who draw the costume, who have to animate the character in the costume, are just going to get frustrated if you don't make it simple.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
now, when it comes to designing bringing an animated character to life, this is your opportunity to make the character your own in a certain way. Add more detail, add more accessories, add more stuff for the silhouette to be similar, but you don't have to make it the same thing. Personally, I think one of the characters that got robbed in this Disney live action remake situation in the way of costumes, I think the one who really got robbed was not only Emma Watson, she got robbed, but Halle Bailey as Ariel. Because when I heard that they were going to bring Halle Bailey to play Ariel, I was thinking, oh, cool. We're going to get African American mermaid princess realness. There's a music video. I think the song is called Happy Without Me with Chloe and Halle. Happy Without Me. They look like you see Halle Bailey in that video and you're like, OMG, she does look like a mermaid. And I don't know how much the budget was on that video. I don't know how much the budget was on that, but she certainly looked good. I mean, real good. Like she was serving Ariel in the best way possible. And then when we got the movie, Rob, my question is, where was the jewelry in the hair? Where's the crown? Why is she not serving mermaid princess?
I do
Lost opportunity.
I do feel like because, especially, this is a live action interpretation, I feel like, there is a missed opportunity because Ariel is under the water a lot of the time. I'm not saying put not like barnacles, but like the little kind of look like a little barnacle is like a little hair accessory or something, or
Like a hairpin.
yeah, like a little barnacle hairpin or something, or in some promotional materials or like fan arts, like some people use like a little like coral or like sea flowers or whatever.
Yeah. And
Like,
also,
I was also kind of burnt out with the Disney live action movies, so some of these ones I was just like no discredit to the actors or actresses.
Oh, of course, no discredit to any of them. They just came in and did the work.
yeah,
It's just more on Disney's part.
Yeah, and also like 3D animation can also add in more detail, but of course
Yeah.
not by much because you don't want to overload the freaking computer or anything.
Yeah.
And also when it comes to animation to live action, it's also about taking into consideration real world physics, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I wanted to hold on. Actually, and I'm going to bounce back to a subject you talked about, silhouettes or recognizable colors. Because it's not necessarily live action, but it's just funny because, and I sent it to you guys in a text too. Because it's funny. But while I actually have the stuff on hand, for those at home, I was being very dumb. I just brought like a crap ton of like different sources, different types of stuff to show. So while we're talking about recognizable character designs and colors and such, I brought pictures.
Okay.
So this is not the live action. I mean, it is technically a live action if we're talking about. This is the stage show version of the Naruto costume, the first like series version costume. Sorry for the people watching at home. I am on my Japan and thing but Japan like kick on some of these things. But you can kind of see and I'm going to put myself in a little bit of a layout. Hey. I don't know if this is going to show up in the recording. So, we can kind of, I don't know if it shows up on my screen. I'm doing it. this, but we see in the collar in the manga and the anime, the collar just kind of seems like it's not a corduroy, but like there's a word for it. I just can't really think of
It's
it.
like
But
a
you know
fluff.
how in like some sweaters it's just like the fold over for sweaters. I like how here it's more of like a Sherpa,
Mm,
but it still reads as like that fold over. And then
mhm,
we get some of these extra rivets and details in the costumes. So where because obviously for those who like watch or read the source material, well, no, these are like combat ready, child soldiers for a ninja academy. So they're gonna have like all these extra like knee pads, arm braces, all this kind of stuff. I think, in my opinion,
mhm,
some people may call it is still kind of over designed. I don't think you necessarily need some of these like extra lines on
mhm,
the like legs here. But
mhm.
also we have to take into account that this is for a stage show. This is
Exactly.
this is going to be read from half a mile away. So you need it to be legible as, oh, this is Naruto's costume. While we're still on the manga slash anime, while I'm still on the manga slash anime design character design, there's also the 2019 a Full Metal Alchemist movie. This is the design for Edward Elric's jacket or his whole
Mhm,
getup. In the manga, he has a little bit more. I believe it's just more of like a straight, not cloth. Like how I understand it is like just like kind of a more like a cloth cloak and such. But they add like all these partitions, all these extra lines to the costume. I have more. I don't just have the one.
mhm,
But you can kind of see like they're still trying to reign true to the original design of the character. And yes, I did bring a poster for this. Like they're still trying to like be true to the character in the design because you still kind of see the silhouette. If you're familiar with Full Metal Alchemist, Edward Elric is always kind of well known for his big red coat, black under jacket, black pants, all that. He was kind of missing his like hairdo, but like that's an anime hairstyle versus like a realistic hairstyle. But yeah, I when it comes to silhouettes, it's just funny. But now, because I just want to be funny, because we're talking about silhouettes, John, and I
mhm.
sent this to them in a text, but I want to show you all. Michael Rodent is well known for his silhouette. I don't know if we're gonna get like flagged for this. I might have to like cut this for like any extra stuff. I
I
don't
mean, we
know, but
don't
I
need.
just think it's funny. Um,
Mhm,
the Mickey Mouse design is
mhm,
very popular, very, I don't think eponymous, or he's well known for like the shorts and such.
mhm,
I think it's very funny. Not a lot of people really kind of register that the Sora design is basically Mickey's design. Big yellow shoes, big red shorts. His little jacket is Mickey's like shirt, like top of his body, and they do the same with Mickey in the thing,
mhm,
except and they add extra details. Obviously, this is for a video game. But I just
mhm,
thought we were talking about silhouettes
mhm.
and like, does it still follow the character design? It does. That's hilarious. I'm gonna be blowing up the mic. I'm probably realizing that, so I'm sorry for folks at home. Um, so yeah, I think, and I'm gonna bring that back a little bit later. I just wanted to show it and share it because I think it's hilarious. So
Mhm,
yeah.
So I guess to just give my own thoughts about like readability and things like that. It's like as in like being able to recognize what we were like, what we were talking about here. It's like you can add details to the design as long as
Mhm.
it stays true to the character and colors are intact, and it's really not that bad. It's just when they overcomplicate the design with needless detail, then that's when it becomes overcrowded and the design no longer becomes recognizable. I mean, sure, it's fun to see every stitch mark, but after a while, same as with hyper realistic 3D animation, it's going to lose its novelty and distract from the whole piece. And granted, I like attention to detail, but I am
Hmm.
learning through my
Mhm.
creation, like my creation process with character designing and even world building, that I'm learning to not get so caught up in the details too much. It's really a balancing act. And and this whole thing actually reminds me of adaptation wise, like the whole
Hmm.
concept of adaptation. It's like you're adapting one medium into another and just about working within that medium.
You know, you say that an overcomplication. I think it's a wonderful segue to something people probably saw in the background, but I just want to share because I think everybody can agree there's a point of contention to a lot of some costume designs for more modern movies. I want to know why we went from spandex that looked like dinosaur teeth to this.
Because it's alien, I guess.
Yeah. Um, and for visual reference, you have all these other like designs that yes are very similar in like obviously these are the 1995 movie designs. They but the silhouette, the like color blocking, would that be the right term? John, do you think color blocking is
Yeah,
the right
yeah,
term?
yeah. Color
The
blocking sounds right. Yeah.
the color blocking for the 1995 suits stay true to the original spandex costumes, where you see the diamond on the chest. That's
Hmm.
still readable as like obviously in the original it's actually teeth. Blah, 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 the Jew Ranger. Da, da. But like they still read as like what the original costumes were.
I can
Um,
definitely see some hints. I can definitely see some hints of them trying to basically pay homage to the original costumes while also making something new.
yeah. My biggest complaint, and I've had this complaint for almost 9 years, because God, this movie's 9 years old, um,
Hmm.
is that the only suit or the only helmet that you can really read as like, oh yeah, that's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, that's a dinosaur, is the Red Ranger. I could not tell you that the Yellow Ranger or the Black Ranger or even the Blue Ranger really look like uh
Yeah, like
Triceratops, Mastodon, and Saber-tooth Tiger. You could not
yeah,
tell me.
like the pteranodon one, you could
Yeah,
see that it kind of is a like
yeah.
pteranodon helmet, but the rest of them, they it feels more like they leaned way too heavily into the alien aspect of it
Hmm.
rather than the actual original designs.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's the thing. And I'm going to go back up to the 95 movies is that like yeah, they added extra detail, but it still reads as the like original, like very close to the helmet. Like they're being, of course, this is also like is literally made by the same studio that made the show. So they're pretty much probably trying to follow the aesthetic like to a T. But like they even did for Tommy, they did the like arm and leg bands like for just saying, for God's sake, guys. Like in retrospect, did I like the story of the movie? Yeah, but the suits, I still never really liked the suits. And to get off Power Rangers for a minute, I think it really needs to be said. I think there's a whole contention in the Marvel movie fandom about what people call MCU lines.
Oh, Lord, yeah. Hmm.
So we could talk to death about Tom Holland as Spider-Man,
Hmm.
like another day, or it's different actors playing different character, the same character. Like, but one thing I haven't minded, but is always in the back of my head is these especially where it breaks the silhouette is like these little black shoulder, arm, and leg pieces. I don't know if you guys ever like thought about bug minded it. I don't mind the external web shooters. Like something
Hmm.
they do this with a lot of modern suits. And they did this with like Wonder Man too, where everything isn't all one cohesive piece. Like the silhouette is blocked by multiple pieces, where it still reads as the design, but it's kind of like blocked into multiple shapes, making one shape rather than like just making it a whole shape. Which when you're comparing to like his predecessors. What?
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Jen.
When you're comparing it to the earlier concepts and the earlier designs,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, I mean, I feel like with this one, I just feel like it's like the lines are too much.
Yeah,
Like the line is too flashy. It's
this is a
too,
it's a 24-year-old movie suit too, so it's
yeah.
like they're still trying to be everything is edgy. This is just after the Blade movie came out. This is a Tobey Maguire suit, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We're all just kind of like talking around it.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I know we're crap talking about, extra details in the suits. One thing I've always really kind of admired for hold on, I'm trying to get a good like swatch of it. Admired about the Tobey Maguire suit is like that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. So you can kind of see in the inner arms,
Mm-hmm.
the thighs, and in some of these parts of the arms here, like they have this honeycomb pattern. Of
Mm.
course. Of course, it's not like flat, but I appreciate the honeycomb pattern in the design. Like, of
I
course, what?
I don't mind the honeycomb design, but I think it's just kind of it kind of makes the arms a little awkward, if I'm gonna say, because
Yeah.
arms feel a little awkward where it's like you're trying to look at this character's design and then it's like literally like cut right there. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting there like, well, shouldn't the arms be fully like fully it just feels weird. Like, here's the thing. I would not mind the design if it went all the way to the wrist. If you
Yeah.
made that blue go down all the way to the wrist and stop there, it wouldn't look as awkward.
I mean, to be fair, this is also pretty much like we talk about the silhouettes or like recognizable like things. That's also down to how Spider-Man was designed, is that the glove like stops at the right above the elbow or right below the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the design of Spider-Man himself. So,
Mm-hmm.
but then we go to the Amazing Spider-Man, a very large departure for Spider-Man costumes. It
Mm-hmm.
there a lot of people complain about the basketball texture to it.
Yeah.
Poor kid from Queens, how does he get like all this material to make these costumes? There's always a joke about that which is hilarious. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I but you can still read it. You can there like I found it like not I'm not gonna glaze it, but you
Mm-hmm.
still like see like the what am I trying to say? You still see the silhouette. He still has the like the T of
Mm-hmm.
the red on
Mm-hmm.
his chest. He doesn't have the red belt,
Mm-hmm.
but he has the T of the red on his chest, and then he has the red gloves. He
Mm-hmm.
has the red boots, and he has the eye shape. Yes, the eyes were yellow, but he
Mm-hmm.
still has that kind of menacing eye shape, which you can still recognize as Spider-Man. So
Right.
I mean, and then, and I'm sorry if can control this, but I do want your thoughts on the costume designs for a lot of this stuff, John.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're doing basically a direct comparison of the brand new day suit and the comic suit. So I told you that the comic suit, like that's where the glove designs go halfway up the arm or halfway up the bicep, um this part here.
I
Yeah, and you know
No.
what? You said something about how it, like, did a quick stop on the Toby suit
Mhm.
to where it was very true to the original. I don't necessarily mind. There's this little bit like, it still kinda has the idea of a quick, like, just cut off at the arm, but also kinda gives, like, a natural curve. You can kinda see
Uh-huh.
it, like, with this underarm shot,
Mhm.
you can see the natural curve of it, so it kinda, like, flows into itself. And it talked about those MCU lines, those extra lines. I don't know what you think about this, John. I like you can see sew lines in this suit. They're not unnecessary, like, detail for detail's sake. These are like, "Oh, yeah, Peter Parker made this as in his apartment." You can see, like, the lines where he's sewing, like, stretchy fabric and all that kinda stuff. I I mean, that's done to you guys, but I'm kinda noticing it, especially right now. You can see, like, he had stretchy fabric here, or not just trying to hover around the crotch. I'm just, like, I'm noticing, where, like, the necessary fabrics would be for the suit, so it might
Here's
look like over no, no, go ahead.
here's a question.
Mhm,
Since there's that web design on the
mhm.
underarm of the costume,
Yeah.
has anybody ever done
They actually did. In the
that?
homecoming suit,
Okay. Okay.
they had it was really just for, there's a scene in Homecoming where they're at the Washington Monument, and is what they call the Stark suit, which is the suit I was already talking about the MCU lines. I'm gonna bring it up back up for visual reference. The Stark suit has deployable web wings,
Mm,
but it is
okay.
not like a permanent fixture of the suit, which I can understand is a bit of a frustration. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like, and yes, did Far From Home, like, make this whole thing about making the costume, like, s opinions on Far From Home aside, the the black and red suit from Far From Home is a homage to Amazing Fantasy 15, where the costume is actually supposed to be black and red, but it's been misinterpreted as, black and blue for, like, 60 years. So,
Mhm.
and I'm sorry, John, I didn't mean to fully take over this episode. I just wanted to talk. I do want your opinions. Please give me
Mhm.
your opinions.
Mhm.
But
I mean, I can understand your John's point. I can understand why the sides of Spider-Man's, like the blue parts of Spider-Man's side, like is annoying of how it just ends instead of just going all the way to
mhm.
like the legs or the arms. It's like if I was designing it, I would kind of do that as well because it just or add like a pointed tip or something just to make it look like it ends somewhere. I mean,
Like,
I
so
get
it
it.
kind of flows more into the arm, so it's not such a, like, a fast halt.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kinda like going back to The Amazing Spider-Man, it's kind of like it flows into the arm, and that's where I kinda saw with this Tom suit, like, it still does that stop, but it has, like, a flow into the arm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Um, so, John, I do wanna see if you had any I wanted to know, I know you had a whole bunch of notes because we sent it in a
Mhm.
text, but I wanna think
Mhm.
about departures, like,
Mhm.
absolute departures, popular suits that are departures from, like, the main thing. I already talked about it with the Power Ranger suits. The Batman '89 suit is the biggest departure from what we had seen for Batman suits for decades.
Mhm.
But a lot of people consider it to be, like, the best suit. But he's literally, like, in a rubber glove the whole time. It breaks the there's the only thing that breaks the silhouette is his belt. And they've been doing that even in the Christopher Nolan movies. It's just like, he's completely black except, like, he has a gold belt. Oh, sorry, Spider-Man. Except for the George Clooney movie. where he's just completely black. Ignore the bat nipples.
Oh my gosh.
This is just more for the joke. I can't understand why they did the bat nipples, but somebody, I think it was a
Well, they
very
were making it during a pretty high popularity of the gay era, so it's fine.
yeah, it was the 90s, so it's like
The 90s.
and I'm gonna bring it up. I think it needs to be said because we are talking about Batman. We need to talk about Superman for a second.
Let's do the comparison. Yeah, this one. Okay.
We have the three. I'm just gonna
Let's
count
break it
the
down.
movies.
Mm-hmm.
3 live action suits for Superman.
Mm-hmm.
We have a movie from the 70s with Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
We have the
One of the
Henry
best one.
Cavill suit, which there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of contention about that. I have my opinions. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna get. I don't want to incur the wrath of the Snyder fans.
Mm-hmm.
I like Henry Cavill as a person,
Mm-hmm.
but the way that Superman was portrayed,
That was not his
yeah,
character.
yeah, like, and then David Cornsweet, amazing Superman, amazing Superman. But we're not talking about the people. We're talking about the costumes. The the Christopher Reeve Superman is literally because obviously it's probably also because it was a movie made in the 70s. Is literally just what I probably would imagine. Like, I'm not trying to say this with like rose-colored glasses. Is what I imagine what Superman's costume would look like in real life.
Oh
It
yeah.
is the blue spandex or whatever fabric it would be in real life. It retains the shorts because this is the 70s. Like they don't mind a little camp. This is like a couple of years removed from Batman 66.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is post Batman 66 era, so we're still doing camp. Like it still retains the iconic look of the shoulder, the cape is tucked into the collar, the yellow belt with the red shorts and everything. It's iconic. It stays true to the design.
And that's what people want to see when they are creating comic related costumes, bringing from comics to live action. This
Yeah.
is a perfect example of that.
And then you get the Man of Steel where they were too embarrassed to add shorts. So they made the dick arrow. They kept the little circle, but they just made everything like he has. I'm not going to call them. I already used the word D arrow. I'm not going to use the other term. But you have his gutters like pointing straight down. There's no allusion to there's no allusion to the shorts at all. And they kept this and they made this canon in the comics for like a good decade. Like
I
decade or
just
5 years.
hate how muted it is. I just absolutely hate how much that blue is so deep and muted. And I'm like,
That
no,
too. That too.
no.
One thing I did actually
Because they
appreciate.
think,
Oh,
oh, sorry.
no, go
Because
ahead, Jenna.
apparently they apparently because they think that dark means edgy, so we got to make it edgy, I guess.
The one thing I actually did appreciate about the costume design,
Mhm.
which it's dumb, but it's also funny, is like ingrained in the suit. What looks like scales are also the little S symbol. It's funny.
Okay.
It's cool. It's a neat detail, but it's funny. Enough about Cavill's suit. The we we have the elephant in the room. The very good movie of last year is the corn sweat suit, as I would call it. Like it's the S isn't super raised. Yeah, it kind of looks like he is wearing how do I say this? Like it does have the MCU lines. It does kind of clearly give that he probably has like some type of padding in some spots.
Mhm.
But like it also if you because we talked about this, I said this with like the Naruto suit. Like
Mhm.
if you look at it from far away, maybe the little bit of the shoulder pads and such, but it reads like a similar way to the Christopher Reeve suit does. It has
Mhm.
the S is not a raised shield off of his chest because this is Superman. He can basically take a atomic bomb to the chest and like walk it off or whatever. He doesn't need like an actual literal like metallic shield on his chest. In like, I'm sorry, I'm singing praises of this. We can, like, people can have their opinions about the little collar thing or whatever, but like it still reads as it's just this little. It's a suit. It's a like. It's even funny that like the only suspension of belief that I have issues with is apparently Ma Kent made this.
Mm.
Christopher Reeve, I could believe Ma Kent made. I 100% believe Ma Kent made this. The
Mm.
This is the Fortress of Solitude. This is Gary made this in the Fortress of Solitude. So, I mean, John or Jenna, I mean, if you guys want to add any extra notes
I
this,
wanted to like clarify. So when we mean by silhouette, well, what I meant by silhouette was you can read that this is a character like removing all the color, removing all the detail, like and it's just a black outline, a black silhouette. You could still recognize that character is what I meant by the silhouette method.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, I kind of got off on a tangent, and that's actually can't talk. It's a fun thing about character design is if it's designed good enough, it's not just some Joe Schmo,
Mm.
and you have like you look at SpongeBob, you know it's SpongeBob. I'm gonna get this share screen off. You look at SpongeBob, take all the details, like just make it completely black. That's SpongeBob.
Yeah.
You recognize that shape.
Yeah. And
It's
also, sorry.
Yep. No.
I was just going to say one other thing that I have been thinking about is a word of advice for any creators out there. Never, ever advertise your work as being authentic as possible to a specific culture. Because if you mess up, if everything ends up being surface level window dressing, you get 3-part, nearly 2-hour long video essay calling you out on your bullcrap.
Yeah. So I mean, I do think like sometimes over designing a character too has its problems because if you have too many like spikes and all that stuff, you know, some people might recognize it, but then like there's like if your character is only recognizable by the details inside of the silhouette and not the outside of the silhouette, then you just kind of mess up on that. Is that kind of am I kind of touching on that?
I think it's I've heard somewhere there's a difference between designing for for graphic novels versus
Mm-hmm.
designing for animation.
Yeah.
Like because as John mentioned, you have to, you're gonna draw that thing for multiple frames. You might want to not you want to scale back a bit on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I really that's something that's like super agreeable about is like because if you take um and there's just dozens of pictures of it online is like you take all these like different photos of characters. I'm just gonna name a few. This isn't the exact ones. Just naming a few per example. You take Gumball, Mickey Mouse, SpongeBob, Ed or Eddie. A good chunk of people of different certain generations, Felix the Cat. People are gonna recognize these characters from their silhouettes, the designs, because they're so remarkable in their designs. Like they're easy to remember.
Yeah, and also because you don't see these things. You don't see these things all the time.
Yeah.
And making them stand out from like the average design that you would probably see like a billion other times.
That's why the hidden Mickey ears work so well, because it's just 3 circles. You can draw 3 circles like anywhere, and people are going to be like Mickey Mouse. I mean, they did it with Disney Channel. Like it's like, hey, I'm actor in this show that's only going to last a week, and you're watching Disney Channel, and they do the whole thing.
Yeah, they do that.
They
Like,
screw up the whole thing.
So,
What's up, John?
so speaking about costumes, a while ago I came across this book.
Ooh.
oh, nice.
One of my favorite books of all time regarding costume designs.
You know what? If we run out of time, we have enough stuff. I think we should do this next week too. If you're fine with that, John, because I want to see what's in the book. I want to see what's. I think everybody. Oh,
this is the bodice of Cinderella.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah. So, because we are almost out of time. I want to do this next week, and we're gonna keep this on the
All right.
On the recording. We should do this next week. Costuming's part 2, just so it's like fresh in our minds. I know we try to keep, but like the conversation feels unfinished. And Jenna, I did because you and me are you're retired from the tokusatsu community, but I at least wanted to show you the 3 iterations or 4 iterations of rider costumes so we can share our thoughts on like how they've designed for different eras. But we'll save that for another day.
Yeah.
What
I'll
do?
Oh, sorry.
What I'll do is I'll send you comparison images of animated characters to live action. I'll send those to you, and then we'll just boom, go.
If you can do that in like in a Google Drive, send me a Google Drive link, and then we'll kind of go over that next week. So
works.
All right, people are watching at home and all the other fun stuff. Or you know what? Maybe listening. Spotify has video, and also we're on Spotify. I'm still trying to I still need to do Apple Podcasts. That's a thing I know I need to do. I'm being slow on that. I'm working on it. But I just want to say, for the people that did watch, this is a little bit of a different episode. I know I probably took over. I had my thoughts on costumes, but we want to thank you for watching. Be sure to keep sharing this. We would love if you share the crap out of this. At least I know I would. What about you guys?
Sure. Yes, please. We need subscribes. We need the subscribes.
And we'd also like our audience to put their opinions on a costume design they like or dislike. And don't hold back. Don't hold back.
Even if it's in like in a Facebook group, if you email me, DM us, or like if you know us personally, because I know right now, even if our audience is small, we just still want to share it with people. Please, even if we just talk about it ourselves.
Comment down below your thoughts on costumes and what are your random thoughts on some of them.
Yeah. So anyway, you know what? We were going to try to talk about something else next week, but we have so much to talk about when it comes to costumes. We're going to bring it up next week. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And you know what? Check us out on Spotify. Like I said, we will be back next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Good day.